Good day, everybody. Welcome to Dental Voice with Xyrus. My name is Rolando Mia. This is the second season, and we have a returning guest today, Dr. April Robinson. I met Dr. April Robinson about a bazillion years ago when I had just joined this company, and the enthusiasm, the energy, and just the essence of her blew me away. And well, I don't know, 300 years later, no, not 300 years, like 8 years later, I'm still engaging and I really appreciate it. Good morning, Dr. April. How the heck are you?
Good morning. I'm faking being awake.
Oh, yeah, me too. Me too. So when we first met, this is almost 5 months ago, we were right in the midst of the, COVID hitting us and blindsiding us from nowhere. We didn't know what was going on. There was so much speculation about what would happen. And quite frankly, everyone was kind of scrambling to try to figure out how to get around this thing. Now, 5 months later, practices are open again. We're working. There were a lot of things that people talked about. And there were a lot of speculation about what may or may not happen. Share, if you would, kind of what your experience has been, and then kind of what you're going through, and what you're seeing is happening, and what's working, what's not.
Well, I have a really great visual aid I'm going to use. Introduce you.
Oh my goodness.
Petunia. This is Petunia, my Shih Tzu. Now, this is me at the beginning of Corona. I was cute. I did my hair. I did my makeup. And I was bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. I'm usually a very positive, bubbly person, make jokes about things going on. But I want to show you what I am now. This is the same dog with enter the coronavirus 5 months later. This is Buttercup.
Oh my goodness gracious.
I don't do my hair anymore. I wear minimum makeup, but this is literally my spirit dog of how I feel right now. I wear a surgical cap, not because it's, we're supposed to, but because I don't have to do my hair. But this is literally how I feel right now. I'm frazzled. I'm tired. I've lost a lot of chutzpah, huh? Let me give her back.
Oh my goodness.
And in fact, Rolando, as you know, I avoided your calls because, it's easy to go on air when you feel like everything's great and you can be the cheerleader and you can tell everyone how wonderful life is, but it's really hard to go on and say that you're not doing well, that you're really struggling. And so, yeah, I avoided your calls because I didn't want to go online and tell everyone how hard it's been for me and that I'm still not through it. And in fact, I was thinking about it and it reminded me of my dad. My father had Parkinson's disease. And as the disease progresses, you lose more and more functions. And every time he would lose a function or an ability, he would actually go through the mourning process. Rolando, have you ever heard of the 5 stages of mourning?
Yeah, I have.
And so, he would lose his ability to use his hand and write, and he would actually go through the mourning stages. And, right now, I think we're going through COVID mourning. We're mourning how things don't feel safe, how we don't know what's going on. And I'm seeing it in my patients. I'm seeing it in my team. And I'm definitely feeling it. I feel like I honestly move through those stages rapidly throughout the day. At one moment, I'll be depressed. Another moment, I'll be angry. Another moment, I'm bargaining. Okay, if I do this and this and this, my practice will be safe and nothing will happen to it, and everything will work out perfect if I just do this and this and this and this. And then, and then there's acceptance, and I'm like, okay, I'm okay. I'm okay. And then wham, bam, something else hits me, and I start through it all over again. I have to be honest with you. I'm not doing good.
Well, first of all, I'm so grateful for you that you're able to speak this way with me, and I so appreciate you being candid and direct in in the course of navigating through crisis, and that's what we're going through right now. Not everything is awesome, and I appreciate you sharing the sentiment around that and sharing that. Yeah, this is hard. When you look at the statistics of offices going out, when you look at what's happening in the industry, dentistry is definitely getting hit hard, and the profession that we have is being, I mean, think about it. When this first came out, I mean, our governing bodies were basically saying that it was a non-essential. When you think about the link of the mouth to the body and systemic health, it is essential. But then there are so many things that aren't quite clear. There's so many, you're hearing back and forth, and most importantly, we still don't have clarity around it. How are you right now? You mentioned throughout the course of the day, you're still working. Is that right?
Yeah, we're open full time.
And are your patients coming in? Are you seeing the patients, and
Yeah.
do you see that they're coming in? And how are the patients actually?
Well, I've been asking them lately, how are you surviving this craziness? And there's always like a pause and then like a sigh. I mean, people are just, it's almost like I want to call it COVID burnout from the stress
Fatigue, right?
of,
COVID fatigue.
yeah, because the stress of, regulations keep changing, and then we have to adapt our lives to that. And then everyone's supposed to wear masks, and then no one's supposed to wear masks. And then it's just, and I have a lot of people who are like teachers. Right now we have half on, half off,
Right.
and they're doing remote teaching and they're teaching in class, and they're exhausted. They're just exhausted trying to adapt. And the parents are exhausted. Who knew that math would be so hard? God. It's really hard. It's unbelievably hard. And people are trying to keep up, but they're tired. They're exhausted.
I can't even imagine, because the weight sits with you. How is it going with your team, and how are you and the team navigating through that, and what's the experience that you're having there right now?
Well, I actually sat down with my team because I thought, who else better to ask what to do? I need to talk to these smart ladies, and we sat down and had a team meeting, and I said, I'm kind of sick of doing our morning huddle where we sit down and talk about this person needs a Panorex and this person needs an X-ray and that, this and that. I said, I just don't want to do it. But I'm really struggling, and I don't know how to solve it, and I don't know how to get through this. And so we all kind of sat down, and, my hygienist, Holly, had a great idea. She said, I always try to look for something positive. And that is good. You look for something, there's always sweet in with the bitter. And then Dawn said, well, why don't we just do this every morning? Why don't we just sit down and take a minute and say, how are you doing? And what's going on with you? And what's something we can help you with today? What's something, you're worried about patient so and so? Well, we'll help you through that. We'll cheer you on. Or I didn't get any sleep last night because my kids kept me up all night. And then we joke, and laugh about it. And we just decided if we were good, like the team felt good, that the patients, everything else would fall into place, and who cares if we don't get that Panorex? We just really felt like if we sit down and we just check in with each other and laugh, and like we had one person was talking about a problem that they were having, and we said, well, we've got someone that didn't get any sleep last night, so you can talk to her all day today and she'll listen to you. She'll have her eyes closed, but she'll be a great listener to your problems today. They're really, really, I gotta hand it to my team. There are people who haven't given up yet. They're tired. They keep showing up. They keep working hard. We just keep showing up. That's the only solution I have right now, is you keep showing up to life. You keep showing up to work. You keep opening your heart up to the experience, to the pain, to the scariness, to the beautiful things that are happening to you. I'm just trying really hard with everything I have to just keep showing up to life.
Oh my goodness. Thank you for that. I love the sentiment. It's amazing that when you came to your team, oh my goodness, what an incredible team. The foundation or the message around that is that, and this strike, it hit me hard. If we're okay, then our patients will be okay. And it kind of ties back to, get yourself on solid ground, get yourself on a foundation that you can then support others. And I love the fact that you're coming together. That's so huge. Thank you for sharing that. You're right. It's not easy. I'm curious, when we first met, you shared with me the story of your journey of starting in the office, cleaning things, then becoming a dental assistant, then becoming a hygienist, then deciding to go to dental school. And it was interesting because you also shared very, very directly was that there were a bunch of folks who said, why are you doing this? You're too old. You're not good enough. This is that. And you got through it. How do you get through this? What is it that what gets you through all of this?
Well, I'm very stubborn. Yeah. My husband likes to joke that once I make my mind up about something, it's made up. Like, he can't reason with me. He can't negotiate. It's happening. So he's just learned to just sit back and let it happen. I am very stubborn. So that does get me through a lot of things.
Well, it's about being completely honest with yourself. And when you opened up our session today, you shared that, you didn't want to answer my calls because, you're like, wait a minute, things aren't incredible. Things aren't so perfect. And you made the decision to go ahead and come on. What got you there? I'm so grateful you did, by the way. But how did you make that decision?
Well, I'll tell you honestly, I was up a lot last night. It's hard to be vulnerable. It's hard to not put on a brave face. It's really, I feel like, especially in dentistry, you want to be that person that gets up and talks about, well, we do this at our office, and so everything's great,
Yeah.
and I don't feel like that right now. I don't feel okay. And I was up last night worrying about it because I don't have some great solution on how to make this better for everyone. I don't have the answer. And in fact, I'm laughing because I'm starting to see people advertising for, this is what you need to do in the next 6 months to make your office fly through COVID. And this is what you need to do. And it makes me laugh because everyone wants that answer, but the reality is everyone will have their own answer, and there's no set formula.
Right.
And it's all about figuring it out day to day. And so, but yeah, I still have that inside of me that I'm supposed to come on today and say, hey, this is what we do, and this is going to be great, and all you need to do is do this. And the reality is, man, Ro, I'm really scared. I'm scared. I don't know what's going to be thrown at me today. And that's the honest answer. I'm really scared. I'm scared, and I'm trying to do the best I can for my team. I'm trying to do the best I can for my office, but there is no roadmap right now. There is no certainty, and there is no, you follow A, B, C, you're going to get D. It's really hard. And I think it's hard for dental professionals to come out and say that, because you never want to be seen like you aren't capable. I feel like I'm capable to the challenge because I'm very stubborn, but I'm really tired too. Like, I've been fighting this battle with COVID, and I'm getting tired now. I'm ready for some easy street, but I don't think it's coming for a while. You know, I can tell it's not coming for a while. And I have to be honest, Ro, you know, I've been in dentistry 25 years, and I know it's a good fit for me, and I know I love it, and I know it will turn around. But right now, if I was new and I didn't know that, I might think about getting out of dentistry because it's so stressful. If I didn't have that background, I probably would be thinking of different career options. It's incredibly stressful. Yeah. And to have uncertainty put on top of that just adds a whole nother layer. You know, because I hear like teachers are thinking of quitting and things like that. I think it's going to settle back down, but I guess it's good that I have that foresight, or else I think I would be deciding to go mow lawns and remove snow, because
yeah, it brings you up, and it gives you that support. It's interesting in your approach, in the candor that you're giving yourself and being so brutally honest with yourself. You're actually, you are getting to the answer, and that answer is there's no answer, so you have to figure out what's next. And it's that we had a discussion, you know, you come in the office every day, and what do you do? What do you do? Hundreds of times a day.
Oh,
and after you cry, these things make you cry. What is it? You're faced with problems, and those problems are like, holy cow. And the key is to do something, and you're doing something, which is good. I think too, just as a sentiment, one of our colleagues, a guy named John Scott, he said it, asking for help is a sign of strength, and being vulnerable is a sign of strength, not a sign of weakness. Your clinical skills are there. It's just when you look at what's happening in our environment, this is the part that we have to really button down. And I think it's important that, you know, as you express this, reach out to people. And, you know, we've got a lot of viewers here who, if you have a chance and you have any thoughts about it, you know, share them. This is important. Your practice is in North Dakota, right? And you've opened now how many years roughly?
Almost 5 years we've been open.
Wow. And this is your dream. Your dream was to have your own practice and have it. Is that right?
Yes.
And yeah. And here's the thing, with everything, it's kind of this, there's a balance, I would guess. If you don't know what's bad, how do you know what's really good? And if you don't know what's good, how do you know what's really bad? I love the perspective you have that, you know we're going to get through this. It's just a matter of time. We have to figure out what's going on. And the idea of this is me pre-COVID, and this is me now with everything. It's funny. You haven't done your hair. You haven't done it. You look fantastic. If that's what you look like. Holy cow.
Yeah, this is the first time I've done my hair in months.
Oh.
I don't. I just wash it and put the surgical cap on.
Well, no, hey, there you go. So from a sharing with, there are other practices out there that are going through what you're doing. It's not, I would be lying if I said they weren't.
Yeah.
And there are practices that have actually never opened up or ended up closing down. And it hurts. And it hurts to hear that. For the practices that are where you are, what are some things that you would share with them, in addition to what you've already said, as far as, the comments about your team? Oh, that's incredible. I mean, one of the big issues, and this is very clear right now, practices are struggling with teams. Practices are struggling with dental assistants, with hygienists, because work at home, or children, homeschooling has become a big issue, or there are team members who have decided not to come back. What are some of the things that you would like to share, or to kind of that's helping you get through that right now?
That's helping me get through it.
Yeah.
Lots of caffeine.
Yeah, definitely ask you. You'd mentioned it. You've been staging your up because you've been short staffed and all that type of stuff.
Yeah, we have incredible ladies, and one of the challenges we're going through here right now is that school is half on, half off, and it's different for everyone. And then there's always been a daycare shortage in our area. So we've got a huge challenge there because we have people that want to work, but it's finding appropriate care. And not only that, it's a lot on their plate. I mean, we work, like today, we work until 7 p.m. And then they're going home and cooking dinner and doing, homework and bathing kids. And it's a ton. It's a ton to adapt to. It's hard on them. And my team's been great to jump in and cover, and I think they realize that we're all going to have moments like that, and we're going to take care of each other. I mean, that's what we say. We're going to help you out. And then when I have a bad day, you'll help me out. I just see the wear and tear on them and how hard this has been. And I've seen it with my patients too. We have people that are great, that always show up, that all of a sudden forget their appointment because life is crazy, and now they've got kids going one day, another kid going another day to school, and they forget their appointment. It's not normal for them to do that. And so, my gut instinct says don't make any big policy changes because things will settle down once this kind of settles down. But who ever thought school would be part-time? I mean, I don't know. Whoever thought that would really happen? And the kids just want to go back to school.
Right.
I see it with the kids. I'll see them and I'm like, so did you go to school today, or was today a home day? And they're like, it was a home day. But, I feel like our community is really stressed out with all this change.
So, first of all, again, thank you. You're 100% right when it comes to that. Also, your comment about the math. I used to do it this way, and then the kid showed me this box thing. I'm really good in math, and I was like, what on earth is this thing? So anyway, enough of that. Because this is a forum that, Dental Voice is a forum that enables us to hear from clinicians, hear perspectives, hear opinions, get advice. What would, if you could ask our community, and it's an incredibly helpful and supportive community, what are some things that you could ask for help around, and thoughts from other people about? Any thoughts on that? On how to do things or overcome things?
Let me think about that for just a second.
Yeah.
I think the biggest pressure I'm feeling right now is that I feel like I have to do everything right. And if I don't, my business will fail. But the hard thing is there is no right.
Yeah.
But I feel that pressure because it's my business. I've invested everything in it. I can't have it fail. So I put a lot of pressure on myself every day that I've got to do everything perfect. And then if I don't, it's going to be my own fault. So I mean, how do how do people that run a business also be gracious with themselves?
That's definitely a great one. If you were to add in, so there's a responsibility. I can feel it that you created this, and there are other people around, and you're putting a lot of pressure on yourself. So the question is, how do you kind of get around that? What can you do to support yourself and be, I like the word gracious with yourself.
Mhm.
What else would you ask for help around if you were, as you were thinking in this forum, and people were to come out and speak to you? What do you do to give yourself some extra energy when you feel really low? Because I feel really low right now, really low on energy, on being able to handle this. What do you do during the day to help you besides caffeine? You know? That's right. Besides caffeine.
Yeah, yeah. What's a little pep talk you give yourself?
Well, the couple things that I, first of all, I appreciate, and thank you for that, is yeah, we have to adapt. And probably the biggest thing that I would share is the idea is to look at what's in front of you. Dr. Anna Vasquez, I think I shared this with you, shared something with us early in the process, this win concept. What's important now? Starting there, because if you don't get that done first, you're not going to be able to get to what's further down the road. And I think that I would say that's important. Your directness, your vulnerability, you being so candid about this is huge. And I would encourage our viewers and folks out there, thoughts or sentiments, if you could share those with Dr. April, that would be great. We've got a couple I just want to show, and this is kind of what it is. You know, I love her honesty. I think we're all struggling in our own ways. Huge motivation. So powerful to know it's okay to not be
Oh,
okay.
thank you.
That's so cool. And I love that. And then, it's I very much your tenacity. Just keep showing up. That's a huge, 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 huge thing. It's just,
Yeah, thanks.
yeah, I think what you'll find is there are a lot of people out there who aren't having the best times of their lives right now. And as you said, it goes up and down. And
Yeah.
I so appreciate you, first of all, taking the time to spend and share that with us, to give us your perspective around it. And I'm going to encourage people, again, it's the sharing that you have, because it's, you know, it's not easy to say that you're having a tough time. And then when you do, it gives you the ability to say, yeah, I'm having a tough time. Your team, I admire the connection that you have with your team. And I so appreciate that even with everything that you're going through, you took the time. I'm personally grateful that you took the time to sit here with me and express what you're going through. And you were so direct about it. If you were to kind of give a message out to our viewers, to your community, and to your patients or your team, how would you want to close this out, and just what's the message you'd like to get out to them right now?
I think it's okay to ugly cry on the inside right now. And I really want to get one of those destruction rooms where you can go and beat up computers, and like I'd really just like to have a festival where we just beat stuff up and then have a good ugly cry and then hug. I miss hugging. I
Yeah.
really do. I miss that personal touch. In fact, I hug some people. I'll just be honest. Yesterday, I hugged a patient. I just had to. I think people are starved for that right now, and it's really hard. So, group hug to everyone. Group hug.
Well, if people had comments or wanted to share things with you and they wanted to get in touch with you, what would be the best way to do that right now?
Oh, my email would be great. It's aprilmr@ndsupernet.com.
April.
M as in monkey, R as in Robert, at N as in Nancy, D as in dog, supernet.com.
Super. And your website, the website for your practice is?
Robinson Fam Dental.
RobinsonFamDental.com. Okay, perfect. First of all, Dr. April Robinson, you inspire me every time I talk to you. And even when you're having a tough time, you get me to see things, experience things. And I'm personally very grateful to not only meet you, but also know you. And I very much appreciate you sharing that. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for sharing that. Those of you out there, if you have any comments or if there's anything that you want to ask us or Dr. April or share with Dr. April, please reach out and do that. I want to give you at some point here, I'm going to come over and we'll give you a big hug. We'll go out and have a bite or something. I got to give Aaron, your husband, a gold star for sticking through, and your team especially. So thank you for doing that. Folks, if this was helpful to you, again, Dental Voice is about hearing from our colleagues, and you heard from Dr. April Robinson. So Dr. April Robinson, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for sharing that. And you know what? It's okay to ugly cry. I like that. and hey, I'm gonna tell you, caffeine is good. Caffeine is good. So. You are an absolutely exceptional person. Thank you for taking the time, and really look forward. We're going to get through this, and at some point in the next several months or so, would you be willing to? Well, here's the thing: if you want to, I'd love to have you back so that we can see how you're doing and do that. Is that something you'd consider?
Yes, as long as you send me to the Bahamas to do the interview.
Okay, we'll do it in Bahamas.
I can only do the interview in the Bahamas from now on.
Okay. All right. Well, have a wonderful day. Please say hi to your team and give them a big hug. Your dogs are adorable. We have 2 little miniature wieners that are just we're talking. They bark at the air. They love the air. I think the air is dangerous. So it's awesome. But thank you for joining us, and have an absolutely wonderful day. Please be safe. And we'll talk soon. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
Take care.